Hey, 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 hey.
Back, we back, and we back.
We are back. We are back for another week of F Your Feelings, the show. I don't know how quickly I can say it. I've read that I can't swear within like the first 2 or 3 minutes of being on YouTube.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna find out about that. I don't know if it's like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, but you have to wait.
Yeah, I'll wait till
Mm.
all Kirsten starts. So I can't even say the full name of my show, but y'all know what it is. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode. As usual, I think it's going to be fun here. Because we've got an interesting topic that I'm even curious about. And I'm glad that Twins is here and all of you gentlemen who will join us in a moment to give some insight on this topic. Before we go into that, Twins, how was your weekend?
Weekend is good. Always short. It's so short, but it's good though. Hot. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, I am in Atlanta, Georgia. It's now
Right.
fully activated as Hot Atlanta. Okay, that's where we're at right now with it. It's now Hot Atlanta because it's been 90 plus all week. It's so hot. I left my gym bag in my car the day before, and I went to the gym after work, and like my deodorant melted. My soap was hot. Good thing.
Stop this.
By the time I got in the shower, it was kind of warm because I got in the sauna first and then got in. But I was like, thanks, thing kind of warm. So it was that hot. It was 98 degrees outside. So you can imagine in the car was like 110. So
That's
anyway,
crazy.
Hot
That's
Atlanta is
crazy.
activated, y'all.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Hey, Mister, I hope your internet is good this
Yes,
week because
please.
I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this topic. But that's hot as hell. The thing about it is, I've always, for the most part, lived in a condo. The only time I lived in a house was growing up in Jamaica, and then in
One.
Vegas when I was married. Like we lived in a house in Vegas, we all know is also hot as heck. But in my adult years in Canada, like I've always lived in a condo or an apartment with underground parking. So I never had to worry about
Nice.
those things. But like yeah, I couldn't imagine. As for my weekend, we had a long weekend. So yesterday was a holiday. It was actually Canada Day. I know you guys are going to celebrate 4th of July on Thursday, so it's also a holiday for you. But yeah, we have Canada Day. So I actually decided to jump on the train yesterday. I took the train to Niagara Falls, which is about 2.5, almost 3 hour train ride. And I wrote. I'm in the midst of writing my next book, and I just took the time on the way down there and then on the way back. I spent a couple of hours, went to the falls, that type of stuff, walked around. But then on the way back, I was also writing. I'm going to do that a couple more times. I find that it's a really good distraction for me because I'm out of the house. I'm inspired. I can kind of look out the window and see the water and just different things on the way, and it focuses me differently.
Hmm.
And so that's what I did. And then yeah, it was I won't lie, it was a good weekend. I did get a lot accomplished. I didn't get as much downtime as I would have liked, but I did get a lot accomplished. So I'm happy for that. Looking forward to my other 48 hours of probation is what I call the weekend. So
Got it. Information. You're absolutely right. Even though here in the States it's gonna be longer for some of us, like Thursday is the fourth. Then you got some people taking Friday off, so you got a little 4 day weekend, but still.
That's so interesting. Like when you guys have the 4th of July, you don't get the Thursday and Friday off. They just give you the Thursday off, and then they say come back to work Friday.
Yeah.
That's
So
all.
this year at my current job, so it's weird. We'll get to the show, ladies and gentlemen, but it's just life and it's how things go. So Juneteenth is past, right?
Yes. Is that
And
a holiday for you guys or no?
yes, it is a holiday here for us. I
Okay,
think
Juneteenth is okay.
like 2 to 3 years they just fully made a holiday for us, right? But what I want to say was Juneteenth was on Thursday of June, right?
Okay.
So what they did was like, hey guys, how about we just work that day, right? And then we take that day off on Friday for July 4th, so we have a
Got
4 day
you.
weekend.
So fuck the celebration of Black people. Sorry,
Hey,
but I hope
you
I'm
got it.
ignorant
You got
thing.
it. You got it. But you know what?
Fuck the celebration of Black people.
You know what?
Like
I didn't really trip. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's cool, but I
celebrate
definitely
things
came
like
in work
this.
with my full dashiki, African all up and everything. So I made it uncomfortable for everybody. My boss is like, hey, happy Juneteenth. So she showed some love, but I represented it, but it's cool.
Did people actually say Happy Juneteenth? Like is it really a celebratory day? Like, it's not really a day for, isn't it a day for like reflection?
It's really it's really a day of reflection. But of course,
Party on.
the biggest thing that about Juneteenth just passed recently, Kendrick had his little concert, and this. Sorry, Drake. But anyway, no shot towards you. I mean, that's just But yeah, Juneteenth was a big this year.
Sorry, we're not even going to get to it. We're going to get to the show. My man said, sorry, Drake, when Drake came with AI and Tupac. Okay, but you know what? Summer Caravan is here. I'm going to send videos. It's all good. It's going to be fine. We got this. Like, one love to Toronto, big up to Drake. Now, getting to the topic at hand. And Mr. it is indeed, it's actually, yes, it is Niagara. Not Niagara.
Niagara.
It is actually Niagara. Some people say Niagara just because of it is, but it's Niagara Falls. And the thing about Niagara Falls, before we get into the topic, is depending on where you are, you can actually walk across the border. So there's actually a passenger walkway when you get to Niagara, between Niagara Falls, Canada, and Niagara Falls, US, and you can actually walk over the bridge with your passport. So a lot of people didn't know that. I was just telling my other house the other day that you could actually walk across the border. But anywho, getting to the topic. So I shared this kind of, it wasn't really one article, but these signs that a man is faking his love for you with twins, because I was curious to know what his thoughts were. And then when he came back and said, I think a lot of these are actually right, I was like, definitely a topic that we need to do. Because, women, I think one of the biggest challenges for us is how to tell if a man really wants us. And I have said this over and over again on this show, talking about the difference between attention and intentions. And certain things that you need to look for when a man is being intentional towards you versus just having attention for you, basically trying to get the drawers, as men would say. However, even the smartest of women, and I would put myself in that category, especially when we like someone, we sometimes we can't really read the signs as well. So he might come with intention in the beginning, but how far is he taking that intention, right? And so I thought this article or thing was very interesting. These steps were interesting because I think, how many signs do they have here? So I'm going to go through all of the signs that they have, and they have, as I'm scrolling, I think there's 15 of them. No, there are 17 of them. There were 17 signs that he's faking his love for you. But before I go into the signs, why would a man fake love for a woman that he wasn't really in love with?
Why would he fake it?
Yes.
We want to sometimes have our cake and our pie at the same time, right? Also,
what does that mean? Your cake and your pie. What that? Fill in this little Jamaican girl. What that mean?
So it kind of means is that, even though I'm dealing with you right now and I'm getting all the full benefits of you.
Okay.
You're like a placeholder until I get the right one.
I understand that.
And because you allow me to do X, Y, Z, I'm going to still stick around, and you're not really holding me accountable. You're not really putting pressure on me to do anything additional. So why I have to work hard for you and I get everything from you, but then I have someone over here that I'm being challenged for, right? So that's what kind of happens.
What does that look like? Because here is the thing, and I think that is one of my challenges. Is that I tend to be the woman who gives a lot of myself. Like, I love really hard. And I tend to come in and I want to help. I want to give of myself. And it's funny because my boyfriend said to me just like the other day, and he was like, I can tell that you're used to doing a lot for people. And he's like, you don't need to do all of that for me. Like, I got this, right? And it was just like, my girlfriends were like, marry him. Like, marry him because they're used to me going in and having a full-fledged like 36
Takeover.
point life and like breaking it down. So for a woman who comes in and is naturally just, and it's not, I'm not forceful, I'm not it's not like I'm trying to take over, but it's just my natural way of loving. Like if you have a problem, I want to be there and I want to support, I want to help fix it, and I want to like I just want to go in and do something. Like, how do you know which men to do that for and which man not to do that for? And while you're answering, I'm gonna put up Mr. Mister's comment.
So, I mean, that would have to actually fall on you as far as when to know how much to give yourself to somebody, right? How I would look at it, how I would think you should look at it is he have to show you, the person you're dealing with will have to show you that, okay, like give them pieces of you at a little bit at a time. Don't give
Mm,
all of you all at one
mhm.
time, right? Not saying like, I mean, in a sense, you have to make them earn some things, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it is a relationship, and I'm gonna do things to impress you, right? So it goes back and forth. But you can't day one give him wife everything on day one,
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
because also we'll look back as I never speak in absolute, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not speaking on all men, but in most cases, if you give me everything on day one of you, it's like, damn, how many other men she talked to, she gave all this to them, right? Now,
Oh.
you're like, okay, she may be just a jump off, right? Slash hoe, whatever it may be.
Wow.
So, but then if you know, it's cool to have your guard up, right? At some point, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not don't have the whole time, but have it up a little bit, right? You have to guard your peace. You have to guard yourself. You have to
Amen.
guard you, right? And you want to do things slowly, but you got to but you have to communicate with him as far as what you want out of him, right? And then also you get to see the things out of him that you want without you telling him, right? And as we go through these questions, it's going to kind of answer itself as well as we go through it.
Makes sense. That
Mhm.
makes a lot of sense. Mr. Mister said, men, you know she likes you when she does not care where you go or how much it costs as long as she's with you.
That's a fact.
That is a fact.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Matter of fact, yep. That
That
is.
is a fact.
Mhm.
Like that is I don't I can tell you I've had men that I don't like who have spent thousands on me and nary no, nothing. And there are men who just wanted to be in their company, that we could just be going for a walk and going to the park and going to get ice cream or going for a hike or whatever. Like it was just the most beautiful moment because I wanted to be with them. So and listen, I am all about, date within your means, right? Like, and dates don't have to cost a lot. You can have a breakfast date, you can have just brunch, right? You can go for a quote unquote coffee date, you can go for an ice cream date, you can pack a picnic. Like there's so many options that are available because I don't necessarily like dinner on the first date.
Right.
It doesn't really give you a chance to talk as your mouth is full, but like anything that kind of has a walk component, um, doing something active, like, going for a hike, going for a walk, going on a trail. Like, I think there's so many other options. And also see what this, like, if the woman's like, screw this, like, I only go out to Ruth Chris or go to Morton's or go to, wherever the most expensive restaurant is in your city. Is that really the woman for you? Because I want an opportunity to get to know you in different circumstances. And yes, dinner will eventually happen. But I also like cooking at home when we get to that point, right? Like doing stuff together, because when I like someone, I just want to be in their presence. I want to spend time with them. I want to get to know them. And I don't know if you necessarily do that in a Michelin star restaurant. I mean, you have a great time. I've been to a few. The food is amazing. But do you necessarily get to know someone? No, no, you don't.
So I just want to piggyback what you said something earlier. I don't know if we might have saw the same post this week or today or something. I saw it today, but I saw a video girl talking about she don't do coffee dates, right?
Oh, good for her. Okay, girl.
Right. So, and honestly, I don't think nothing's wrong with a coffee date. Now, me personally, I wouldn't call it a coffee date,
Yeah, I
right?
wouldn't call it a date. It's a
Okay,
meetup.
right. But more than likely, the good thing about having that conversation and coffee, right, is one you get to see what kind of coffee the person drinks. Because in most cases, people drink coffee every day, Most people, not everyone, but most people. So when you go, you get an idea of what she likes. So guess what? In the future, you can always surprise her with that same coffee later on without her even asking. That's number one. Well, number one, ladies, that's number one right there. So we know what you like. So now I know what to get for you without asking you. That's number one. Number two is mainly good for having the conversation. It's not really a date. I call it a coffee conversation. I call it
Meetup.
let's have a CC, coffee and conversation. That's what we're calling it.
I love that.
So we could just sit down, no distractions. So we go to Barnes and Noble, Starbucks, or whatever place may be that has coffee and stuff. We could sit in a little crowd area, just me and you. We could turn our phones off, mute, whatever it may be. And just for a good hour, is have a good conversation, right? And if that time frame, if that hour is an awkward moment, this may not work out for us.
It's
you know
done. Yeah.
And also, this ain't this. I mean, some women look at it as, oh, he won't do it to see if I can earn a date. I mean, you can look at it that way, but it's really communication because it doesn't matter what it is. Like we said previously in the last post, that minister said that it doesn't matter where we go, as long as we're with each other. That's what she cares about, and it's vice versa for the man. You know, we're lazy, but I'll land my plan there.
Mister, go in a corner because Mr. said dinner is for your girlfriend. All others get soda and nuggets at best, sir. So your internet is clearly working tonight.
Yes, it is. Clearly.
Your internet is working tonight for sure. That, you know what? That is interesting. That is an interesting concept. And I think, listen, I'm all about men having standards. I'm all about men deciding this is with whom I'm going to spend my money. This is with whom I'm going to make time for. Like, I think we have no problems having standards, right? But I think as women, a lot of us do get upset when men actually have standards. And it's often because we don't meet those standards, right? Just because a man doesn't spend money on you on the first 3 dates doesn't make him broke. He hasn't qualified you to determine whether or not you're worth the money. Like, we haven't qualified you to if it's worth for me to shave my vagina. Okay, near it, wax it, whatever. Like, we're all qualifying each other, right? Like, you're qualifying, men are qualifying for money, and a lot of us are qualifying you to determine if you get the vajayjay, right? Like, it's all a qualification that we're going through. And so, listen, like, I don't particularly want nuggets and soda, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But he's right again. He actually makes another good point. And I think this is another good point is don't waste money on women who do not like you, right? Like, don't waste your money on women who don't like you. And that's the reality. Like, but what does a woman do before we go into these signs? What does a woman do to show you that she likes you?
I mean, we already hit one already, right? It's just that it doesn't matter where we go, she want to do it. So if she's cool with having coffee, she's cool for going to the park, just walking, like the small thing. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, hey, I'm about to go lay down. Can I come lay with you? Sure. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm about to go play basketball. Can I come watch? Sure. Hey, I'm about to go lift weights. Can I come too? And I can walk on treadmill while you're there?
Yeah.
You know, it's just a small thing that she just want to be there, right? And if she's willing to invest her time in the small things, then okay, we can do bigger things from there. No big deal.
Because I always say time is our most valuable resource. And if you want to spend time with me and I want to do the same with you, that's the best investment. And Mr. seriously go in a corner. He said, boyfriends get it waxed, all others get one blade big razor. What woman is using a one blade big? Goodness, what kind of ghetto ass mess dollar store razors? Absolutely not. But we digress. Going into these signs that he's faking his love for you, I am going to read number 1 through 4, and I want to get the gentleman watching and Twins' opinion on this. So these are signs that he's faking his love for you. He doesn't take your dates, plans, or schedules seriously. He does not share intimate details about himself to you. He gives a lot of excuses. He is sweet to you only when he wants something. Well, that's should be fairly obvious.
Yeah. as I read through the list, I'm like, some of these things are very self-explanatory. Like, I don't know how you miss these things. And sometimes at the end of the day, sometimes women just be so infatuated, like, I want him, I don't care, and you just turn googly eye and you miss all that stuff because you're not really paying attention to the, what do you call it now? Red flags. Because right there is those 4 red flags right there. If you don't like, who doesn't like when I first meet a girl, right? A woman, and we're having a conversation, you know what I'm saying? We go in details about everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you talking to a guy and y'all don't go in detail about his sexual experience and stuff like that, he may not be into you, sis. Because I mean, most men, as most men, we try to get the first day if we could, you know what I'm saying? But we'll hold back to try to be a gentleman, but like, girl, you just don't know. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that's a huge sign right there. What was the first one again? Repeat the first one again.
He doesn't take your dates, plans, or schedules seriously.
Right. So that's like him, like the role switch. That's like him showing up late to the date, right?
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Like him showing. Now normally it's the woman who's always showing up late, right? That's him showing up late, or or you plan a date somewhere nice and somewhere elegant, right? He wearing Jordans and a t-shirt, right? And you're in a full dress. He ain't taking it serious. He just there, right? So that's another sign too. Hopefully we're talking to the mature crowd right now, right? Hope there's a mature crowd. If you're young, cool. But I say mature crowd because, as being an adult in your late 30s, going to 40s, if you don't have a polo shirt or a dress shirt to put on and you go somewhere nice, that's a problem. That's a red flag.
What are we talking about? Like, what are we really talking about at this point?
You need a button-up shirt, jeans, and some black shoes. Boom. I ain't saying no name brand. Black shirt, jeans, black shoes, or khaki, some loafers or something like that. That's all you need.
I mean, amen. Like, what are we even talking about? It was funny because it's interesting when women miss these signs, because we miss them, to your point, because it's a man that we want to be with. And we are not looking at the signs of, does he also want to be with you? And it's like the simplest things. Like, I was out like last weekend or the weekend before, not the weekend past, the weekend before. And I happened to send my boyfriend a picture of the dress that I was wearing as I was out. And he was like, loved the dress. And he was like, babe, I should get a suit in this like similar color. So when I visit, like, we go out and you wear the dress, I have something. And I never even thought about it, but I was like, oh, thanks. Right? He just wanted to like match my level of fly because he loved what I had on. And it was like a black color. It was like a velvet green. And I was just like, it was just that one little thing. But the fact that he even put a thought into the fact, hey, like, I want something to match you, I loved that. But a lot of women would just be like, ignore all of that because, the man is fine. I want to be with him. So I'm not going to look for these signs because these signs might mean he doesn't want me. And why wouldn't he want me? Right? Like, a lot of us play these games in our minds, and the man is blatantly giving us these signs. And there's, 13 more of them, but we blatantly ignore them. But I'm going to read 5 through 8, which again, ladies, these should be very obvious, but let's see. Hold on, let me see what Mr. Mister is saying before I read the other ones, because his internet is definitely, last week Mr. Mister wasn't able to join us, but this week he is on. He said, twins read my mind. If he shows up and puts zero effort into dressing decent, he doesn't respect you. Damn.
It don't take nothing. It don't take nothing to throw a polo shirt on, something like that. It's just simple. But if you go there, like I said, when a t-shirt, hat, whatever. I mean, I seen it like during baby showers, right? And at that point, it's too late, right? Baby's here. But the point I'm trying to make is everyone's dressed up, right? Everybody got the matching outfit, whatever. And the dude comes in wearing some
whatever he got on, whatever he threw on.
And mind you, there's a theme. There's always a theme to a baby shower. There's always. I don't care, boy or girl, doesn't matter what it is. There's always a theme, and he shows up the oddball. He's not invested. And hopefully at that point, ladies, if he does that, you notice that at that moment, it's too late.
Oh, there's that. Well, we want to get you before it's too late. So
Right.
numbers 5 through 8. Okay. You notice him flirting with other women in front of you. Well, that's just blatant disrespect. How silly can you be? Number 6, he pays little or no attention to your opinions. Number 7, he doesn't want to talk about your future together. I've talked about this a gazillion times on this show. And he only calls you at night.
Yeah. We won't skip the first two ones. The last two ones are very important, right? So he don't want to talk about y'all future, right? That's a red flag. Because if we're supposed to be dating with attention, right?
Mhm.
We want to be with each other, then before we even get together, we'll start planning our future as far as what it look like. Like, I want to do this, and you will say, I want to do this too. You know, y'all kind of go back and forth, excitement about the future and the possibilities of us being together and being one, right? And of course, the second part, if you only calls you at night, come on, ladies. The only thing open after 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock is the legs, girl.
Legs. That's what grandma used to say. She'd give it midnight though, but ain't nothing open after midnight but some legs.
Listen, I'm just saying, if you only want to see you at night only, that's a red flag. Red flag. Now I get it. Well, maybe he works during the day. We as men will make time for the person that we want.
That is true. I won't lie, I'm a spoiled brat. My boyfriend and I are going through something very similar where I want more of his time, but he's giving me all the time that he has. He's like, babe, like, I'm texting you, I'm doing all of that. I'm just like, and then I had to stop and be like, he's so right. I want more time, but he's actually giving me the time that he has. Now, if he went days and days without messaging me, like, we're definitely not together.
Right.
But
be careful with that too, so you don't scare him away or annoy him.
No, I won't lie. I'm very clear. I'm a bit of a brat. I tell people right away, like, I'm a bit of a brat and I work on it. It is one of my flaws. If Kendra G were to ask me, I am a daddy's girl and I'm a bit of a brat. So it's that balance of trying to step back and go, okay, this person's giving me the time that they have and I need to make sure that I'm working within that, right? Like, it's all about reflection and being, I think, reflective. And this is what these things do, is make us as women stop and take a step back and reflect, right? Like, wow, he isn't talking about his future. So when you start talking about us, he says, oh, you or I? Ladies, that if that is not a sign.
Or even so, as maybe you're talking about the future and the whole time you're just talking and he's not adding nothing to the conversation. He's just sitting there quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's what's up.
Good for you. Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up is gotta be one of the most dismissive
that's what's
things
up
ever. That's what's up.
AKA, that's what's up. AKA, I don't give a crap. I don't care. That's what they're really saying. Oh, that's what's up.
Is that the translation? Like, I don't really give two craps.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Oh. Ladies, you heard it here. Listen, we are here to drop the knowledge on you. So if that's what's up, you better stop after that, because that man is not paying attention to anything you're saying. Moving on to points 9 through 11. Signs that he's faking his love for you is number 9. He isn't consistent with his actions and words. Mm-hmm. He is only kind to you in public. Well, that sounds toxic. And number 11, he rarely makes time for you unless it's for physical intimacy, says almost every woman on Paternity Court.
No lies detected. I mean, all those are, kind of self-explanatory.
So before we get to the other 6, let me ask you this. Would it not be easier for a man just to be straight up and say to a woman, listen, we don't have a future. I'm not here for a long time, but I am here for a good time. And if you want to do this with me, let's do it. But let's just know what it is. And I'm going to say that to men who are fairly good looking, right? Uncle Kevin Samuels used to say basically like 20% of men are dating 80% of the women, right? Because I know a lot of single childless men. But I'm also familiar with men who have a bunch of children with a bunch of different women. I know more of the childless men than I do those men, but I am familiar. I have met them, and it's usually these men are tall and handsome. Even if they don't have money, they're definitely tall and they're definitely handsome. So for those type of men, is it just not easier? Like, why do all of the stuff if you can just tell a woman, I'm just here so we can hang out and fuck?
Well, because some women can take that, some don't. And it's the rejection part. 'Cause they'll be like, no, well, I don't want that. And then he won't get her at all, right? So he lose out on the possible benefit. But if I fake it for a little bit, right? That's why that's where you get strung on. That's where that what I'm saying. That's where that comes from. So some men is mature enough to say that they're only here just to have some fun. And there's some they can't say it because they don't want you to run away, go somewhere else, right? We men are kind of territorial. So if I get the opportunity to talk to you, even though I'm not locking you down, but the fact that I have access to you and you give access to me where I can talk to you and you're interested as well, even though I'm not that much interested in you, but you're big on me, oh, I'm like this. Oh, I got her. I got her. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a game that it's a bad game, right? But it's life.
It's funny. I was watching something the other day, and a man was basically saying that some women need to understand that that man may not want to be with you, but what he wants to see less is someone else with you. So he may not want to be with you, but he does not want to see someone else with you. And that's when he comes in on some like swoop in type thing. The moment he gets wind that somebody might be taking you seriously, he swoops in because the last thing he wants to do is lose access to you. Right. And so that's one of those interesting things when I find it interesting when women will say they broke up with a man, but they're still that women who say I broke up with him because he was cheating, yet now that they're no longer together, they'll still have sex with him. But they're like, oh, I know what he's about, so I don't want to find someone new. So I'm just having sex. But the reality is, how can you ever find someone new if you're still attached to a man who disrespected you and now you're giving him something that it's the whole concept to me. I can't even, it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird concept. But Mr. is saying, because when you say that you get no buns, women love to act like they can handle the truth, but most women cannot handle the truth. Most are weak AF and will throw a tantrum if you don't sugarcoat it. Damn.
Because they'll be like, well, what's wrong with me, right? Because then it turns to a guilt thing, like there's something wrong with you. Like, ain't nothing wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? It just, I'm not in a place to be, I'm looking for a relationship, right?
But what happens when you say that? Like, I'm not looking for a relationship. Is that something that turns women off, or do you find more women are willing to show you that you may not want a relationship with the others, but I'm great, so you should want a relationship with me?
So for me personally, I learned early in the game that being upfront was very helpful, right? So I would tell ladies like day one, I'm not looking for nothing serious, right? Mm-hmm. Day one. So there's nothing crisscross. I didn't lead you on. I didn't tell you. Day one. I don't care if we got something to eat, who was texting, whatever it may be. Day one, I'm not looking for nothing serious, right? But for some reason, they'll do everything in their power to convince themselves that, hey, even though you say you ain't ready, I'm going to do whatever I can to try to get you. So sometimes it's like like you tell them up front you don't want serious, but they'll do everything to try to make you serious.
Does that ever work though? Is there ever women who you meet that you think cool chick, but yeah, not really into it, but somehow she keeps showing up in your life in whatever form she shows up in. And I would hope it's a positive form, because if it's negative, you wouldn't change your mind. But
Right.
she keeps showing up and you eventually go, maybe I'll give her a chance. Like, how often is that really happening between you and your boys?
That one I don't know in that sense, right? I don't have an answer for that one. For me personally, because I don't share, you know what I'm saying? I don't tell my boys all my business, right?
But how often has that ever happened for you?
For
Like, you just
me,
were not taking her seriously, but she just kept showing up.
it was reversed for me. So I talked to this one girl. We got serious, but it didn't work out, right? So we broke it off, but we became friends. And at that point, I told her I was just not nothing serious, and she'd been on the team like for the longest, but nothing ever happened. Like no kids. She was just, you know, I had fun with her all these years, but nothing came out of it.
Ladies, do better. No, we do need, we cannot complain that there's piss in the dating pool and then you contribute to the piss, right? Like, you say you want a relationship because that woman wants a relationship, right? And many of us are blocking our blessings by still having people in our lives that we should have let go a long time ago. Like, when I'm done with you, I'm done with you. I it is not often. There are a couple of exes that I still speak to in my life for my own reasons. It's because it just didn't end badly. Most of my relationships didn't end badly. A few of them ended because I didn't want to have children.
Right.
And so they had to end, because I've dated a lot of single childless men after I became a mother. So most of my relationships ended for that reason. I don't want a child. I don't believe in multiple children by multiple men. So it's just, eventually has to break up. But this idea that you have something with someone that you want to be with, again, it ends, but you're still hanging on. Like, why? Like, why would you not clear the path for something new?
Well, I'm gonna tell you why in my situation, because even though I wasn't planning to be with that person long term, I still gave her all the great boyfriend treatments, even though we didn't have a title. So I still treated her good. You know what I'm saying? Like when we was out as a couple, right? Even though we weren't together, I never did anything in front of her to disrespect her. So she
Mhm.
knows stuck other girls, but I never did in front of her. So that's why she stuck around the way she did, because at the end of the day, I never put nothing in front of her, right? And I never disrespected her. And I gave her all the great boyfriend benefits, even though we weren't together. Now, if I was an asshole, I'm pretty sure she would have left, right?
Mhm.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, I will host you to left because
I
I
would hope so too, but
but then again, we know stories of dudes who were assholes to their girls and
absolutely.
they stayed and got babies by this dude, and he's still now he's an asshole more, but he was that before he even got pregnant, right? So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, ladies. Just
I'm
one
glad
thing I know for
I'm,
sure that my
I'm glad
daughter's gonna get the full game playbook. I'm gonna sit down with her. She gonna get everything, everything.
I've got and I hope my daughter's father has given her a bunch of stuff. I do what I can as her mother, but her father fits that
Mm.
over 6 foot thing. He's 6'7" in the whole tall, dark, and handsome thing. And I hope he's putting her on the game, because this is a disaster. Number 12 through 14, ladies, of signs he's faking his love for you is he never takes the initiative to do anything. He isn't available or accessible to you when you need him. And number 14, he does not want to put you into consideration while making decisions. These should be so obvious. And the fact that someone actually had to make this list and we're talking about it is crazy. But again, we know so many women who ignore so many of these things.
So the one that says he doesn't take initiative to plan things, that one could be depending on the situation, right? He may like for me, I'm the type of guy like I don't really plan that much stuff. I like to do stuff, but I don't like to plan it, right? I'll give the money for it so you can do it, right? I'm cool with that part, but planning it out, I don't know. I don't feel like doing a headache. I don't feel like asking a million questions and going around with it because
But the key to this wasn't the word plan is not in there. It just says he never takes the initiative to do anything, right? Like to me, that's suggesting that he doesn't even suggest anything. Hey, babe, do you want to go X, Y, Z? Like I don't mind planning things. Like, I'm a big planner, so I don't mind if you're like, hey, on Saturday I want to do whatever. Like I'll plan it. Like I actually love that stuff. But when you just take no initiative, like there's just nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. He don't. Hey, when watch a movie with me, he probably don't even want to do that.
He wants to do what he wants to do when he wants to do it. He's not on your time at all.
Right. Got you.
That's the way I took it.
No, that makes sense when you break it down, explain. That makes sense. It wasn't his plan is do it for anything. So it could be, hey, you want to, go for a walk? Hey, you want to watch this TV show with me?
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to go out get something to eat? Like anything. So
because it goes back to the first point we're talking about in terms of when you like somebody, what Mr. was saying, when you like somebody, you just want to be around them, right? Like, and it doesn't matter what it is, right? You just want to be there. Again, just walking to go see the sunset or something, just any little thing you want to be together. It doesn't have to cost anything. But when a man's just not taking any initiative at all, like to me, it's very clear, like, yeah, you're not into me. So number points 15 through 17. His body language is different when you're together in public. Your family and friends don't like him. I don't know if I agree with this one because he could be in love with you and your family and friends still don't like him.
Right.
Number 17, ladies, he doesn't celebrate with you on special occasions because he's with his real girlfriend or what.
or on Valentine's Day, he with his royal woman, and then you get the day afterwards.
What is it? It's not called Sweeties Day or something. What's the day afterward or Side Chick Day? I know there's supposed to be a Sweeties Day and like a Side Chick Day.
Mm-hmm.
Who would take that? Let me check what the Sweeties Day is. I've heard of Sweeties Day. It's not something that we celebrate here. But I've heard of Sweeties Day and it's around Valentine's. And I don't know if it's Valentine's the day after, but I've heard of Sweeties Day. No, that's not what I'm thinking. But I've heard Side Chick Day is on the 15th of February. I'm so busy. I have nothing. But ladies, I'm laughing, but this is not. We need to wake up and get a clue with dating, and we need to stop ignoring signs. When a man is showing who you are, believe them. I believe that for men as well. When a woman shows you who she is, believe her. If she's showing you she's only into you for your money, chances are she's only into you for your money. Like, it's likely that's never going to change, right? And I think sometimes we go into situations with a hope and a prayer, thinking, I want this person, and therefore I'm going to show them reasons that they should want me back. I don't know if that works.
No, it doesn't.
He said no. He didn't hesitate. He said no.
No, because if we want you, we want you.
Sure, let's talk about signs, because I just talked about signs that he's faking with you. Now, Mr. Twins, all of the men on here, I would love to hear. Tell me, give these women the clue of signs when a man does want you. I'm listening.
So, I mean, he'll make time for you, right? That's number one. And it don't matter what shift does he work. He can work a 12-hour shift. If he wants you and want to be around you, he'll be there with you. Different times where I don't work all day, all night long, and I'm not tired. I'm hanging out with you with the crib, chilling, whatever, and I fall asleep. But the point I'm trying to make is that I just want to, I'll lie to myself. I will risk my health to spend time with you, right? That's what I'm saying. The intentional part. Phone calls, texts, whatever it may be. It's the same way. I just want to be around you. I need you here with me. Hell, I'll fly up there. You come down to me. Where we got to work out. What can we do? Let's open our calendars up. Okay, when you free this weekend? All right, by the next weekend. How about that one? Like we'll plan things out.
Future planning.
Yeah,
Future planning.
all that.
Future planning is a key one. Ladies need to know that one. Like when a man starts future planning with you and it's like, okay, I'm not good, but you know what? In 2 months we're gonna go do this. In 3 months we're gonna do this. Or I wanna go here and I'd love for you to come. Like again, it goes back to the future planning. He's seeing you as a part of his plans. He's making you a part of his plans. You don't have to ask to be a part of his plans. He's already putting you because he sees you in his future. And we ignore a lot of these signs because I think one of the mistakes that we are often making is, again, we set sights on a man and we say that that's the man that we want, and we're not giving that man an opportunity to show up in our lives to say, hey, I want you back. Have you ever had a woman go like full court press on you that you just were not interested
in? Always the ugly ones.
Oh, not the ugly.
Always those ones. The ones you don't want, you know what I'm saying? And they go above and beyond. They'll buy me outfits, they'll do everything. You know?
What?
Yeah. Shit. When a woman wants a man, she'll do everything for that man. So it goes both ways.
I don't have experience in the ugly woman department. Thank you, genetics and Jesus Christ.
But also, let me add another thing too, because, I'm not speaking for all the men. A conversation we had before, I think last episode, ladies, learn your man's love language, right? Mm-hmm. He may not be the guy who want to talk on the phone or text all day because that's not his love language. Mm-hmm. So I don't want you to be like, oh, you don't text me all day. Twins say you got to text all day. That's how twins work, okay? Right? Your man or who you talking to may be like, hey, he want to talk all day. You know what I'm saying? He may want to FaceTime all day, right? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or he just want to see you. So when soon you leave work, he hitting over to you before you go home. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it just find out what that love language is and then attack that.
I love that. Mr. Mister's also saying, when a man wants you, he wants to know the things that are important to you, i.e. your favorites, your inspirations, your life story. And that's key. Going back to what you were saying earlier, Twins, about women are missing out on going on these coffee conversations because in those moments, the man is getting to learn you, and he may just show up one day with your favorite coffee or your favorite pastry or whatever it is, because he's taking these opportunities to learn you. And sometimes we are shooting ourselves in the foot because we're not giving men those spaces to be able to learn who we are. And like dating, it's crazy for me because I always feel like dating isn't so complicated, but what happens is when we get our feelings involved. When feelings start getting involved, because those first little bits of dating, when you're just kind of getting to know each other and you're just feeling each other out, right? I feel like it flows so very differently. And then one of you catches feelings. And then the vibe changes just a little bit. So, and it's normally us who, and it does happen in the reverse where men do catch feelings first. I've had that experience, but
it goes both ways. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but most of the times it's the women we catch feelings, and then everything shifts and everything changes because there's a level of expectation that goes when you're in a relationship that isn't the same when you're in dating. There's a level of expectation goes when the first I love yous and that wasn't there before the I love yous, right? Like when we catch feelings, there's extra expectations that go on relationships, and sometimes they break up because we didn't talk about these expectations, but all of a sudden you're not meeting my expectations and you didn't even know they were expectations because you didn't know when the relationship switched, right? Like there's a moment where something that shifts from dating to relationship, and unless we're going back to all of our points, ladies and gentlemen, like Twins likes to say, we're having that communication that can lead to a lot of broken hearts because there's all of these expectations that are being unmet, but the other party didn't even know those were expectations.
And when you talk about catching feelings, and that's where communication does come in, it does get tricky at that time frame when one person catches feelings, because the person who catches feelings now is on a defense mode, right? Like they're now like, I don't want to say too much to scare him away, or I don't want to say much to her or scare him. You know what I'm saying? Vice versa, scare each other away, right? And if you're vibing, you know, you're waiting for that moment where they're on the same page. You know what I'm saying? Like if it is that I love you, right? Like it's sitting right here, but you know how that person feel about it. But when that person feel the same way, oh, it's over. Oh, it's over. Like we're together right now. I'm yours. Once that spark is there, oh, it's over. What we talking about? Where we are? What are we? Screw we talking about? You're mine. We ain't kids no more. I'm claiming you right now. You're off the table.
That part. Can we talk about that part for a second? All of this, like at this point in our 40s, it does not take 3, 4, 5 years to know that that person is for you. It barely takes 3, 4, 5 months to say, you know what, I've got a spark with this person and this is the person that I'm with. So ladies, when you are in your 40s and a man just saying, it's just not time, I'm not ready. Girl, it's just not you. It's just not you at all.
As fine he may be or sexy she is, if they don't feel the same way, keep it moving.
Push it.
I mean, let's be real. The average person don't live to 100. So if you're in your 40s, you're not gonna make it to 100.
Listen, there is, my girlfriend sent a clip of 21 Savage literally breaking down how much actual years, viable years we have on this earth. I'm actually sending you the clip. I was like, okay, come through 21 Savage. Because he started calculating the amount of time we were sleeping. And he's like, think about that over your lifetime. If you are actually getting 8 hours of sleep, how much years of your life did you lose every year or every 10 years just sleeping? Just sleeping. Right? He started really, and then he's like, the average person is going to live to say 65. And so you subtract, like, and then you realize you only have so much viable years on this earth. So why are we wasting it with people who just do not want us in the same way? That's always an interesting part. And again, at my big age of 44, like I'm not waiting 6, 8 months for some man to be like, yeah, we've been dating for 6 to 8 months. Now let's think about getting into a relationship. What are we talking about?
I mean, let's be real. You have in your teens,
8 months,
20s, and your 30s. Like you have over 3 decades of time of dating. Let's be real. About 40, in your 40, you should know what you want. Just that simple.
And you should know what you don't want. I can tell you that I was going to second dates, and that was as far as my dates were going. I would get to the second date, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. Right? Like you kind of start figuring out as you talk to people, because we're busy, right? Like I think what's the thing about dating in your 40s is we're busy. So the dates generally are not happening. You meet someone and like a day or two later you're dating. You got to schedule that shit in your calendar, right? You're taking out your calendar and you're moving things and figuring out. So in between the meeting and the first date could be 7 to 10 business days. But in those 7 to 10 business days, you're conversing, you're texting, you're talking, you're doing whatever in between the time to make sure that that chemistry is there. So by the time you get on the first date, you've got to know each other a little bit, right?
Right. And
then that date goes really well. And then you get to the second date. And again, you're talking. Again, it might be another 3 to 5 days in between the first and the second date. So in total, you might have like a whole 2+ weeks of conversing and getting to know each other and figure out there's a spark and those laughs on the phone or not wanting to get off the phone or whatever the case might be. At our big age, that is a long time, and that is a lot of investment of time. And so if by the second date, after the second date, I am just like, yeah, this is not a person that I can see anything with. There is not a third for me.
Mm.
It is a waste of my time. It is a waste of my time. That's my biggest thing. Like, I do not like to waste my time. And I certainly don't want to waste somebody's time and their money on me if there's nothing there. So I
Right.
know that I know fairly quickly. So I know that a man is going to know. Like, when a man says, listen, I'm not here to waste your time. This is what I want. Ladies, pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. Because some men will waste your time. Like you've said on several, you almost got in trouble for saying it when I had to break it down. You said a man will let you do what a man will do to you whatever you allow him to do. And
Yeah.
that is facts. A man will absolutely waste your time if you allow him to waste it, especially if it's coming with the JJ.
Yeah. I know some people get upset, like, well, why would a man do that? Because you allow us. Why? If you left a candy on the table where the kid can eat it all day long and you do nothing about it, is he gonna eat the candy? Yes, he is. You know why?
Damn
Because
right.
you allow him.
Damn right.
That's how we love you. You know, y'all women, y'all can be sweet. You know what I mean? Sometimes. And we'll just keep going till somebody tells us no. You don't tell us no, we're gonna keep going. Sweet tooth and all. Cavity, matter of fact, cavity and all.
Let me ask you this, and this might be a controversial one, but we're gonna end the night with this one.
Okay.
Do you feel that men are more attracted to women who make them wait for sex?
Okay, for me, no. Okay, all right, let's go back. Me, no, if you have kids already. If you have kids already and you making me wait, I take that as a disrespect. Now, if you have no kids, okay. Now, I know you ain't no virgin, but you know what? I'll let it ride. You know what I'm saying? I can work with that. But if you got kids running around here, you better not talk about you holding the kitty cat up. I'm not playing them games.
Why? But why? But why? I am curious to know.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because if I'm talking to you at this age of my life, I'm being intentional. I want to be with you, right? How dare you make me wait to have you or be with you when you let some random dude who didn't even put a ring on your finger have all of you? Make that make sense. You are out in the world and experience with multiple people who don't give a crap about you. But now that I'm in your life and I want to be that man in your life, your protector, your provider, all that. But now you make me on short leash. Oh no, you can't get it now. No, I'm celibate now. No, I want that same hoe that was giving up to the other dude over there. I want that hoe.
Not that.
Okay, don't lock shit down because of me. No,
not that same hoe.
I want that same freak was out there before. Don't. I know I fucked it up at the end. I know I'm sorry because I've been that guy to talk to a girl who had maybe 3 or 4 kids and talk about she ain't giving me the cat. What?
That to me, now I'm all about women growing. The 3 and 4, I don't even know how men do that. God bless y'all. I tried it. It is not for me. I am a 1-2 kid maximum. No, thank you. But I get a man looking at a woman with 3 or 4 kids, especially if it comes with 3 or 4 different men. And like, that is ridiculous. However, I will tell you that I am team, I'm not giving it up unless I'm in a relationship. Now, I'm not going to wait till marriage. That's crazy. For me personally, that's just not my thing. More power to those of you that's a thing for you. But for me, I am not in a place where I am going to give up my vajayjay just because you took me to a nice meal and paid me a compliment. If you are intentional about me, how to show your intention is to want to be in a relationship with me because you think I'm a great woman, and then it's on like Donkey Kong. But I'm not going to give it up just because you take me on 1 or 2 or maybe 3 dates. Like,
totally
I get asked out enough that I could go on a date almost every single day of the week.
Yeah, and that's why I said I'm being intentional. I want to be a provider, protector, all that. So that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just, oh, I'm taking out to eat a few times and I want to smash. No, I'm actually feeling you. I'm digging you. I want to be with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
So
I
that's
want to do this.
different. That is very different than a man who wants to be with you versus a man who's just out there and you meet for a second date and he's ready to go. Like, again, I've been on a, and I would, for me, I don't even believe I've ever been on a celibacy journey. I just stopped having sex because I wasn't in a relationship, right? Like,
Right.
for me, it wasn't hey, I'm about to be in a celibacy journey. If I got into a relationship, I would have sex. No relationship, no sex. And I think one of the things that we do a disservice to ourselves is that we use sex as a way to get into a relationship, as opposed to getting the relationship and then giving the man sex.
Times have changed. You know, that used to be the old ways, right? As you know, now in 2024 going forward, things are totally different, right? People are doing on the first day, one night stands, XYZ. So, you know, it sucks, but you kind of have to adapt.
I'm not adopting.
Not saying you have to. I'm just saying as overall, right? Like, even now, marriages are not traditional anymore, right? And I say not traditional anymore because we don't have traditional women out there. So it is.
You did not just throw that down. So you think it's just the women not being traditional? How about do you find that there's more traditional? I mean, we can probably put a pin in this after this for next week. But do you think that there are a bunch of traditional men walking around these days?
I think there's a lot of traditional men out there. Well, when I say traditional, let me go back real quick. When I say traditional, I'm referring to marriage, right? The men out there who want to get married are marrying a woman based on traditional standard, right?
Okay.
The provider, protector, all that stuff. I'm the head of the house, XYZ. We don't have these traditional women out there anymore that's following that. These women out here now want to be, well, I'm the boss. I can do this too. Okay, I don't want to be in a partnership.
I don't want to do it too.
You understand what I'm saying? So it just the men out, like, the whole marriage needs to be thrown out now. Like, it needs to be. I wouldn't say thrown out, but I had this conversation on the podcast.
My boyfriend is not watching the show. Babe, marriage does not need to be thrown
out, but it needs to be revamped. And when I say revamp, because when you get married, you get what is called a marriage license. With me?
Yes.
Now, any license out there has to be renewed. Car license, driver license, gun license. If you're in the medical field, you got to renew. If you're a realtor, you got to renew. Everything that has license behind it has to be renewed. But for some reason, the marriage license is the only thing that doesn't get renewed.
You are factual. I would actually agree with that. I've actually said that that's something that needs to be reevaluated every few years, right? You reevaluate, do I want to be in this marriage? But that goes back to this is stuff we talk about. If you're doing your relationship check-ins, if you're doing your weekly check-ins, your bi-monthly check-ins, how often you decide in your relationship that you're doing check-ins, you should very much know what page your partner is on. The issue is that people go into marriages in these situations just thinking, I got married in 2009, so I can keep doing in 2024 what I was doing in 2009 to keep my partner. And that's just not true, because we change, we evolve, and so much happening. And you need to understand that the person that you married has evolved and changed. Are you guys still on the same page? Do you want the same things? And you only know that by making sure that you're doing those check-ins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read this last comment because I feel like this is, I almost want to explore this whole traditional modern thing, because it's a topic that I've talked about on this show, previously, but I'm always interested in finding out from men's perspective what they considered a modern versus traditional woman, because I think I'm a combination of both. I don't ever pretend that I don't need a man. I damn well need one. Like, I'm not a woman who says, I don't need a man, but I want one. No, I need a man. I need a man. Hallelujah, Jesus, you brought me one. I need a man. It's more than just I want. I understand that in this world we need to be together. because we are better together. But I also know that I was brought up in traditional ways to take care of my man, cater to my man. The whole, the man, it's God, him, me, and the kids. Like I get all of that concept. I clearly have modern ways because it's 2024 and not 1924. So I'd be curious from you men, and maybe again we'll talk about this next week. What does that look like? What is the modern versus traditional woman, and what's that kind of perfect balance? But to end it off, Mr. Mister is saying modern women can tell you a whole list of modern women can tell you the whole list of what a traditional man is supposed to do. Ask them what a traditional woman is supposed to do, and I'm guessing those are crickets. I feel like this is a topic we need to explore next week. And Mr. We would love for you to come on and share your thoughts. As usual, the link to join the show is going to be in the comment section. I pin it, so all you got to do is go up to the top to join the show. But I am interested in this topic because I think a lot of us are misconstrued about this concept of modern versus traditional, because one of the arguments I hear, and I'm going to end it here, is, well, our grandmothers and some of our mothers didn't have a choice. They were stuck in these marriages that they want to be with because they didn't have jobs and they didn't make money. But now we're making money and we can do what we want, and it's independence. And it's all tied to the concept of finances and financial independence. And somehow that meant that we should throw some other things out the window. Like, I'm a woman who still cooks. Like, I'm about to go have dinner. I cook 5-6 nights a week. That's part of my way of showing love. So part of my way of showing love is nourishing your body. If I'm with you, I want you here for a long time. And so Uber Eatsing or DoorDashing food that has all this sodium and that other people have cooked 6 days a week is not me showing love, because part of me showing love is nourishing and nurturing your body. Now, yes, I go out there and I make money and I do my thing, but I also feel like that's important for my household, for the longevity of my relationship with my man and his health, that I do that. But a lot of women think, oh my God, no, like in these times we're not supposed to be doing that. So I'm just curious from the men, next week you guys can talk about that. Like, what does a modern woman look like, sound like, talk like, versus what a traditional woman is? Because I don't think it's what a lot of us women think. I think we think a traditional woman. I don't know if you remember Derek Jackson, when Derek Jackson came out and he had his wife sitting beside him with her bonnet of Holy Christian something. I don't remember what she called it. And she was just sitting there kind of holding his hand as he talked about cheating on her. I think a lot of people saw that, oh, that's what men want when they say they want traditional women. We should just sit there and be silent. But I don't actually think that's what you guys are saying.
No.
And so next week, everyone, come back for this modern versus traditional women conversation that is going to be interesting. And I'm hoping, Mr. that you are going to come on and join us, and for all of you men and women. And I think we need to have these conversations because I think we're not listening to each other. I think a lot of the times women, we hear something and we create this idea of what this is in our heads, and it's not actually what you men are saying. And I think the same goes for men. Sometimes you hear something, like you hear protector and provider, and you automatically tie it to finances, and that may not be what we're saying. I also want you to protect my heart, right? That's also protection and provision, right? Like, I want you to be thoughtful with your words and what you say to me, and thoughtful with your actions. That's also part of protection and provision. But I hear a lot of men here, yeah, you want a protector and provider, or you're a gold digger, and it's like not even the same thing. So I think this will be an interesting conversation. I think we'll talk about, maybe modern versus traditional women. And we'll also talk from my end, when I say protection and provision, what am I really talking about? It's going to be a good conversation. So everyone, make sure you are liking and sharing this content. You see here, it's scrolling by. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, invite them over here. We are changing the conversation around Black relationships. This is where grown folks come together to converse and talk about making successful Black homes. We are tired of the division, but I think we do have to have conversations about what is dividing us, and then come up with solutions of coming back together. So again, like, subscribe, share, make sure you're turning on your notifications so that every week you will know that we're coming on. I am going to be looking at adding maybe a weekend show. Twins may not always be available because he's got a life. But I am looking
Turn up.
at adding a weekend show and bringing on some different guests. And so if you want to be also a guest co-host, if you want to join me and Twins together, if you want to join me when Twins is not available, please hit me up, fyftheshow@gmail.com, and let's get into this conversation because we're doing some good shit over here. Just saying.
Well,
Any final words, Twins, before we leave?
be intentional. It's that simple. Right to the point.
That's your dating tip for the week. I love that. His dating tip for the week is be intentional. I almost forgot that we're supposed to do our dating tip. So my dating tip for the week for the ladies is watch a man's actions as much as you listen to his words. Often we are listening to the words and ignoring the actions. But I know a lot of men who say, hey, I can tell you anything I want to tell you, but what am I actually doing to back up what I'm saying? So ladies, again, make sure you're watching his actions as much as you're listening to his words. I think it will take you much further in relationships, and it will avoid a lot of the heartbreak that a lot of us are experiencing. So those are our final words. We will see you next week. Same time, same place. Good night. We're out. Bye.
Later.